All right, we're getting closer to the season. This is post-spring predictions of the top 25 going into conference championship week. And then conference championship matchups based on this will be later in this video. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I am the Dependent Fanatic, and welcome to my channel. And on this glorious Memorial Day weekend, we have to remember those who served and fought for our country and fell for our country. And that is why I can sit here and do these videos. So just remember all of the military people. We had Veterans Day not too long ago. It'll be coming up again. Every day should be saluting our men and women of service. So we have to remember those who served. All right. We're talking post-spring predictions here. This was liable to change going into the season, of course, but I'm going to give you the team, their record. I think it's going to be wins versus good teams, 8-4 or better, and their worst loss. Now, this is every team on this list has one loss to a team that is less than 8-4. So a 7-5 team or something. That is what the worst loss is going to be. All right, and then what their last season record was and how it differs this season. Did they improve? Did they get worse? Miami, I think, improves by one game. They go 8-4 in the conference. Mario Cristobal in year 2 or 3 now. What is it? You got to get better. I think he will. 8-4. He has good win versus Virginia Tech. A bad loss at Georgia Tech. All right, number 24, Stanford. Yes, it's 9-3. I think this has to do with the new conference in the ACC, where they have a lot of them teams coming to their place, and the ACC is pretty weak overall. Stanford, with their physical play, can go 9-3. I think their key win is at NC State. No bad losses. Last season was 3-9, so they're going to improve by 6 wins, I think, this season. Hey, listen, that's that's my dark horse right there. And not every season is going to be the same. Not all these teams are going to be the same. So, at number 23, we have TCU. 8-4, I think they're going. Bounce back from last season where they went 5-7, up 3 games. After the season before where they beat Michigan in the playoff. We won't mention that anymore. All right, TCU, I think, bounces back. At Texas Tech at home and Oklahoma State at home are key wins for them. 22, LSU, 8-4. They have USC in the neutral site game in the first week of the season. I think they win, and then I think they beat Oklahoma. They go 9-3, but that's not as good as last season. They go 8-4, not as good as 9-3 last season. Oklahoma's number 21, 8-4. You see their wins. I think they go they went 9-3 last season. That's down 1, but that's due to the fact that they are joining the SEC now. All right, number 20 is Tennessee. I think they go 9-3. They have that neutral site win versus NC State, and they beat Florida. And as you can see, Tennessee should actually be ahead of Florida, and I have the arrows there. Indicating that because of the head-to-head. I think the committee or whoever, the rankings, the AP, will like the head-to-head for Tennessee. I think they improved by 1 game from last season in the regular season. And Florida should be behind Tennessee, but 8-4 with 4 really good wins at home, 4 really good losses, basically on the road. Florida is a good team. All right, they're the middle of the pack. They just have a daunting schedule here. But if they win 4 games and only have 4 losses, they deserve to be number 19 in the nation. Miami, Texas A&M, LSU, and Miss are all wins capable. They can do it. I think Florida can move up 3 games from last season's 5-7. Let's move up here. And I had another screw up. Let's just go down to Iowa, shall we? Oklahoma State, I think we'll go 9-3. They're number 18, working our way down to number 1. I think they beat Utah at home. I think they beat Texas Tech. at Colorado is their ugly loss, and they went 9-3 last year, so they're the same. It's the same schedule. Mike Gundy. They seems like they go 9-3 every year. All right. 17 is Louisville, 9-3, 2 quality wins and an ugly loss. But they're going to be down from last season. They went 10-2 in the regular season. This year, 9-3. And then I think, of course, Penn State is number 18 because USC should be number 16 because of the head-to-head. Now, or 15. Am I missing someone here? Anyway, USC is 9-3. They have 2 quality wins. They should be number 15. Oh, that 13 that looks like a 13. That's a 15. So USC is number 15, 9-3. They beat Penn State and Nebraska, I think, at home. They went 7-5 last year, so they are going to have some improvement there, up 2 games from last season, the regular season. Penn State should have been number 16, 10-2. No good wins versus these 8-4 or better teams. No bad losses, 10-2, same as they always are. Number 14 is Clemson, 9-3 with 3 quality wins, all at home, though. 9-3 is what they went last season, same as Clemson always does here, minus the 2 national title years. Dabo is being Dabo. All right. Number 13 is Texas A&M, 9-3. I think big jump, up 2 games from last season. They beat Missouri, LSU, and at Auburn, I think. And then Iowa is number 12, 10-2, same as last season. They beat Nebraska, and they lose at Michigan State. It's one of my bigger upsets there in the Big Ten. Post-spring. This is post-spring. Here we go. Let's go top 6, and let's sneak in Ohio State so everyone has enough time to fume about it. Virginia Tech, I think, is going to make a huge jump in the ACC. I think they'll beat Clemson. They went 6-6 last season. They go 4 games better than that this year. That's why they're way up at number 11. Remember, this is who I think where I think they're gonna be ranked going into conference championship week, if my results stand pat. Post spring. All right, Utah at number 10. I think they're gonna go 11-1. I think they're gonna beat TCU. They're not gonna lose to anybody. That's better than the 8-4 season last season because of Cam Rising. I think he's worth 3 games for them coming up here this season. Number 9 is Oregon, 10-2. I think they'll beat Ohio State, which is why they will have the head-to-head here in the Big Ten tournament in a rematch of course, yours truly, Michigan coming up. But I think they lose at Wisconsin, which is that a bad loss? I think Wisconsin goes 7-5, but I'm only including 8-4 teams here. They went 11-1 last season, Oregon did, but they're joining the Big Ten now. So I think they go down 1 game, and you guessed it, that's Michigan. At Mississippi is number 8. I think they go 10-2, same as last year. I think they win a good game at LSU, and they beat Oklahoma at home. Number 7 is Kansas State, 11-1. Oklahoma State at home, Kansas at home. They went 8-4 last season, so they're going to go 3 games better than last year. And I think this is a direct result of Oklahoma and Texas not being in their league anymore. So they have a chance to jump way up. Ohio State. Oregon joined the conference. I think you're going to lose them. I think you're going to lose us. But you beat Iowa, you win at Penn State, and you beat Nebraska. I think you go down 1 game from last season, but it's still enough to make a 12-team college football playoff now. All right, top 5. And I hate to say it, and I'll do the honorable mentions here, the other 8-4 teams that I think will be in the Power 4. Texas, I think you're going to be just outside of the top 4, but that doesn't matter anymore. Like I said, 12-team playoff. But I think you go 10-2. You beat Oklahoma on a neutral site, you beat Florida, and you win at Texas A&M to end your season. I think you went 11-1 last year, and you're down one game, but like I said, you're in the playoff. And these would be your 4-team playoff if that was still the case, except Alabama and Georgia would play each other, knocking one of them out, maybe. And then you open the question of Texas, Ohio State. But we don't have to worry about that anymore. With these expanding conferences and the fact that they don't play each other enough to determine an actual champion, they had to go to a 12-team playoff, or at least 8. I would have liked 8, but they went 12. So Florida State is number 4 going into conference championship weekend this upcoming season. 11-1. They beat Clemson, Miami, and Florida this year. I think they went 12-0 last year, and they go one game less. But like I said, FSU, they added in some new teams: Stanford, Cal, SMU. So it's going to be interesting there. And then Alabama is number 3, 11-1. I think they'll go and look at their wins. Georgia at home. Why is Georgia number 1? Well, because they had more wins. I think Georgia will end up being, and they will play each other in the conference championship, so we won't squabble over this top 3 ranking here. But between Alabama and Georgia, Georgia I think is one of Alabama's wins. At Tennessee, Missouri at home, at LSU, and Auburn at home, and they go 11-1, the same as last season. Michigan is going to go 12-0 again. Texas at home, week 2. All right. USC at home. Oregon is at home. And these are all spaced out a little bit. I think there's one game between Texas and USC, but, Oregon. And then at the end of the season, Ohio State on the road. We won 2 years ago there. I don't see why anything has changed. Has Ohio State gotten any tougher? Has their quarterback gotten any better? Has their wide receivers gotten better? I don't think so. Well, I think 12-0 is the same again for Michigan from last season. And then number 1, Georgia is going to go 11-1. Why are they above Michigan? Because they have a neutral site win against Clemson. They won at versus Auburn, at Texas, and then they have a neutral site game in the cocktail party versus Florida. They beat Miss and Tennessee 12-0. They went last season. They're down 1 spot from the year before, but I think they will be number 1 going into conference championship week. Now you see the mentionables there, and we're going to talk my predicted post-spring conference championship games. The top 2 in conference are for all of these conferences now. There are no more divisions anymore. You can take that out. There are tiebreakers. Head-to-head matters as well. In the ACC, I think number 4, Florida State will play number 17, Louisville. Number 14, Clemson had 2 conference losses, so Louisville will be the team that Florida State plays. In the Big Ten, I think number 2, Michigan will play number 9, Oregon. Tiebreaker goes to head-to-head for Oregon versus Ohio State. In the Big 12, number 7, Kansas State will play number 10, Utah. And in the SEC, number 1, Georgia will play number 3, Alabama for the SEC championship in a rematch. 2 of these games will be rematches from the regular season. So I can't wait. That's why we have a 12-team playoff now. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Like the video, share, subscribe if you haven't, and have a great day, everybody. Go Blue, though.